What's going on, guys? Craig at Prestige Window Tinting. Wanted to go over the removal process. If any of you guys are trying to remove window tint, the easiest way to go about removing it. We're working on a 2012 Chevy Cruze today. The film is just really yellowed out. You probably can't tell in the video, but it's kind of faded. It's got a dyed film on there. So it's naturally going to fade. It's starting to get some distortion and stuff like that, so it's hard to see out while you're driving. So we want to remove it, and we want to install new window film. So I wanted to go over the steps with you guys on how to go about removing window film and the easiest way I feel to remove it. Sometimes with window tint, when you go to remove it, you can try all the steps, and sometimes it's just a time-consuming process. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get a steamer. Okay, this is nothing fancy. It's a $30 steamer from Walmart, but it gets the job done. You don't need a fancy $300-400 steamer. Sure, those are great, but this gets the job done just as well. So really simple. First thing you guys want to do is just steam this window up, okay? You want to get this baby nice and hot, because the goal here is to heat up that adhesive to where it will peel off the glass a lot easier, where you're not having to scrape the window and scrape all the glue off the window as much. So you're just gonna get down here and you're just gonna heat it up. And once you think that you've got it steamed up quite a bit, I always like to use my bone gasket tool and kind of pick at that top corner at the edge. Typically that's the easiest place, and then you can go to pull it down. So what you're going to want to do, you're just going to hold that steamer there. You don't want to be careful because the steam is extremely hot. And you're just going to want to kind of pick at the top edge where the tint's at. Sometimes it'll tear. So what I'll do is I'll get my 1-inch single edge blade razor. Okay, guys, and go up here into the corner and just try to remove some of that tint down in the corner. Okay, and then once you've done that, you can kind of go around the top edge a little bit more with the razor, just to kind of get that lip started a little bit more, to give yourself something to pull. And this one's going to be a little tricky. Should not want to come off very good. So you're just going to keep working it down. Keeping the steam constantly on the glass. Because what's actually happening right now, guys, is the film is delaminating. So the clear protective liner that's on it is actually coming away from the tint. So that's why you want to really get as much steam on it as possible to really kind of steam this up and heat up that adhesive. You can start peeling the window tint away from the window. You're going to get some parts that don't want to come off. But I'll just start that with a razor blade, and then typically it'll come off with it. I always like to make sure that I get the steam as much in that crack as possible in the edge, so that way the tint tends to not stick on that edge, because then it's kind of a pain to get the tint out of there. You got to really use a razor blade and scrape it good. So as you're working through here, you're again just heating it up, keeping the steam on it to try to keep as much of that adhesive on the film and off of the glass. So once I have the film pulled off of the glass a few inches from the top, you can roll up the window all the way, and then you can pull it off the rest of the window. Again, keeping your steam where it is that you're pulling, but still trying to keep it going all the way across the window to keep that nice and warm, keep that adhesive soft. You can go at it from the top as well. You want to try to go nice and slow because you don't want the window film to rip. The key is to try to get it off all in one piece. I'm just going to keep heating that adhesive up. And pull it off. What I like to do, let me just wipe down your door panel. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it down. And we do have a small piece of film right here. So what I'll do is I'll use my blade, take out a little bit of blade, and kind of run it down there. You can get it with that sometimes, or you may have to use a single edge blade. To really get that rest of that film up out of there. Because the last thing you want is any kind of contamination that's going to ruin the new material going on. So what I always like to do is just get a little bit of generic Windex. The compounds that are in here are going to break down the adhesive that is on the actual glass. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of mist it over. Make sure you get it on each side. And then you're going to take your 1-inch blade and you're just going to go over the entire window. So I normally start at the top. And scrape to the edges and then down. And then make sure that when you're scraping, overlapping each stroke to make sure that you're getting full coverage on the glass. Getting all that adhesive off. You don't want any dry spots. So if there's adhesive still on there, just hit it with a little bit more Windex. Make sure that you get in your side edges really good. Okay? Then you can roll the window up. Hit it again with Windex. Go down your front edge. Overlapping strokes. Making sure that you're getting every square inch of this glass. Like I said, you do not want any glue, adhesive, contamination of any sort on the glass when you go to install the new window film. Okay. Once you've got it with the Windex, I'll take my spray bottle. You're going to spray it down the front edge, down the bottom, around the front and the back. So that way I can scrape the window again. Again, going across the top. I'll take my water bottle again, go over the window one more time with a blue non-scratch pad. And the reason why I do this is because if you did happen to miss the littlest of spots, it's not going to be very big, but this is going to take the rest of it off. That's really the biggest thing with removing window tint is the prep. If you're going to be installing new window tint, you want to make sure that this is the best, cleanest surface possible. So once you scrub it, you take your squeegee, squeegee around the front and back edges. And then I always like to wipe it down, wipe down the door panel, and wipe down the glass. Just to make sure you have everything. And you can take your blue huck towel and wrap your gasket bone stick, and you can go in the edges. Okay, you guys see that? It's all dirt and contamination. So I'll always do that a couple times, making sure that they're clean on the front and the back edge. Okay, once that's done, you're just going to do it to the bottom half of the window. Again, take your blade, make sure you really get in those front and back gaskets. And then overlapping strokes across the entire window. Again, in the front and back gasket. Make sure you get all the way down. I'll hit it again with my blue non-scratch pad. And I like the blue non-scratch pad because down here, where there's a little bit of embossment, where it says the manufacturer of the window, I always like to really scrub that good, because sometimes your razor blade isn't going to get everything that's in there, in between all the letters and numbers and things like that. So I always like to really scrub that part good and make sure that I have a good clean surface. Again, squeegee, overlapping strokes, making sure that I wipe the squeegee off each time so there's no contamination at all. Squeegee down the window. And making sure that I wipe down every area. And then again, I'm going to take my bone gasket stick and go down that gasket all the way down into the bottom, making sure that I get any and all adhesive that may be stuck on the glass. Because as you can see, there's adhesive still in those corners. So I always like to make sure that I do that. And that will prevent any contamination from getting into the new tint. Go across the bottom again. Do a final wipe. Wipe down your outside again. Make sure you got a good clean surface. And that's it, guys. That is how you go about removing window tint from a window. Sometimes it's going to be easier than that. Sometimes it'll be a lot harder. Some of these windows I've had take 45 minutes to remove. So it really depends on the age of the tint, the quality of the tint that was on there, and things like that. So yeah, hopefully this helps somebody. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them down in the comments. Other than that, I appreciate the views, guys. Thank you.